Legend says that many years ago, on a Saturday at noon, a tradition was started, the Mega Strange podcast. And that tradition continues to this very day. Welcome everybody to another tremendous episode of Mega Strange. A lucky episode, if you will. A green episode. An episode for all the Kellys and Ryans out there. I don't know.
Are you doing an Irish? I thought you were doing like an R.L. Stein bit, so I was about to sing.
I don't know what accents I'm
doing. The Goosebumps theme.
But this is our St. Patrick's Day episode, everybody. Welcome to the Mega Strange Spectacular.
Yeah, we said a green light.
Yeah, we did that on purpose for today's episode. We never do that. That never happens.
Oh, man. It's funny, before this episode, we talked about like getting all this stuff and...
What stuff? What are you talking? Oh, yeah,
like decoration.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
I could put some digital. Nah, that's too much work.
How's it going, Johnny?
Pretty good. I'm drinking a cold brew, Nutter's Coffee Classic.
You never drink cold brew.
Yeah, dude, it's been messing my life up. I don't know if you want to get into that on this podcast, but
yeah, let's get into it. What's been wrong with your life?
No,
what's been going on in Johnny's world?
No, it's like I'm in this weird cycle. No, I need to stop talking about being tired on the show. People are getting scared. No, I drink the cold brew, and then it brings me up. So like it brings me to the next level of caffeinated that I can't sleep, and then I wake up the next morning tired, and I drink another cold brew, and it starts the circle of Johnny.
I drink exclusively cold brew. I drink it so much it has no effect on me.
Oh,
so
cool.
I take a sip to put me to bed. Actually, some people drink warm milk. I drink a cold brew. That's just me. Anyways, enough about our coffee habits.
Anyway.
Welcome to another episode of the Mega Strange podcast, everybody. We are your hosts, Johnny and Derek, back again for another investigation into the weird, the strange, the bizarre, and the paranormal. St. Patrick's Day was just this week.
Yes.
We missed it. And I mean to say that we were going to do this episode the week leading up to St. Patrick's Day, but the timing was a little off. And this happening just after St. Patrick's Day is actually much closer to the holiday itself.
Yeah.
Does it make sense that we're doing the episode after the holiday? I personally think that's a little janky, but we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Pretend, go back in time 72 hours, back to when you were still sober and not hungover, and your skin was freshly unpinched because you forgot to wear green.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. By the way, have you ever been pinched for not wearing green on St. Patrick's Day?
No, people would bring it up. The thing I would get was when you were a kid, was punch buggy a thing?
Yeah, we called it slug bug.
Oh, yeah. So I would get hit a lot for punch buggy, no punch bugs.
Which I never got, actually. We called it slug bug because I thought the car was slow, but now I get it. It's because you slugged the guy.
Yeah. Ooh.
You thought I was going to hit you, huh?
No, I saw your other hand come up.
I protected it. I protected you.
Protect me.
I work soft.
I'm gonna go into this with the utmost confidence. I'm gonna say that the people at home are happy that we're doing an episode late because they get an extra party in. Crack a Guinness or something while you're watching this.
That's true. Put this on Saturday evening and let the luck of the Irish fill your heart with song and joy.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was
like what
English when I started, but I curved it into Irish.
What was St. Patrick's Day was on Thursday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have work the next day. You weren't partying. Then, Saturday, party your head off.
Yeah, you happy with that one?
Yeah. I didn't know what to say.
Party your little head off, everybody.
Party your little head off.
Well, whatever you're doing this Saturday, we thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about Irish mythology, Celtic folklore,
yes,
and everything green. We're going to be talking about leprechauns and some other mystical creatures.
I think I found the Irish version of skinwalkers.
Whoa!
So I'm excited to talk about that as well.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that as well. There's all kinds of crazy, everywhere you go in the world, there's new monsters to be discovered, whether it's Ireland or Native American folklore here in America. I'm sure we're going to do an episode on some Japanese yokai coming up.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very fascinating topic. And if you're watching this show, I'm assuming you're probably interested in these monsters. You're interested in the field of cryptozoology. And if you are, you may want to check out our sponsor, Cryptid Crate. And you can use our promo code Mega Strange for a discount on your Cryptid Crate subscription. Cryptid Crate is awesome because it includes shirts, toys, books, collectible items, and all, I'm going to say it, paraphernalia that has to do with monsters and cryptozoology and just weird paranormal stuff. And I really like those guys. They're good friends of us.
Yeah,
so go
they're
check them
great.
out. Cryptid Crate. Use the discount code Mega Strange. Check out my shirt.
That's from Cryptid Crate, right?
No,
Oh, never mind.
it's not. I just want to show
Check out my
off
shirt.
that. That's from Cryptid Crate.
Oh, no,
Wait,
it's not.
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's a band. I've said on this show that since I've done the Mothman episode, I've become a Mothman stan.
Oh, shit.
And
Me too.
I'm wearing Mothman branded clothing now. I can't help it. I'm sorry. It's
No, it's
probably lame to point out the clothes I'm wearing on a podcast that is related to the clothes that I'm wearing. But you know what?
I like this. I like the little Mothman's doing dances on the sleeves.
Yeah, I'm happy with this one. All right. So St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Everybody knows this from school. We all celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but we don't know why. It has something to do with snakes. We don't quite know what.
Yeah. Oh, can I show something real quick?
Sure. Yeah. Let's just do a hard.
I'm sorry. I
change
just
subjects.
I really need your opinion on this.
I was going to introduce this episode.
If you want to, I could.
No, I wasn't going anywhere.
Okay.
Go ahead. Take over. Take the reins.
Sorry, I didn't know where to fit this in, and you brought up schooling, and I just wanted to know if this was like a thing for you as well. I found this video on TikTok.
Are you shitting my dick?
Sorry, I just really wanted. Did that ever happen to you when you were a kid? Like, did
No.
you ever like go back in the classroom and then like the class was all there was like little tiny green footsteps?
No.
That happened to me as a kid.
What?
The teacher would be like, "Oh, a leprechaun came in and destroyed the classroom," and then it would be like there would be green paint everywhere.
No, I never experienced that, but I think, I was looking this up and Wikipedia has a whole page dedicated to Leprechaun Traps.
Yeah,
Which I thought was like, oh, we're going to get into some like Celtic folklore. Like, how do we capture these leprechauns? No, Leprechaun Traps.
Yeah.
The entire Wikipedia page is dedicated to modern day American children creating these stupid little leprechaun traps.
It's like making slime.
Yeah, it's like leaving cookies out for Santa Claus. It's like, oh, we're going to trap a leprechaun, but all you get is chocolate. I was like, yo, so traditionally you're going to have to use these emerald crystals and bury them in a hole and use this type of branch to cover it up to attract the leprechaun to your pungy crystal sticks? No, it's nothing cool like that. It's like, use some green tinfoil to put a shamrock on your cardboard box. And the leprechaun will leave some chocolates in there for you.
I found a video that I almost brought, but I didn't because it was too long. But it was like a video from like the start of the pandemic. And it was this woman like, so I'm being told I can't go out anymore. So I guess, we'll still try to have fun here. So we're going to make a little leprechaun trap. And it was like, the start was so good, but then it was like,
It sounds passive aggressive.
7 minutes of her being passive aggressive, how she can't go outside and like is making this leprechaun trap for her kids.
That sounds like you go to her house and she has like this whole wall where it's Dr. Fauci's face on a leprechaun body. And it's like, oh, I got a good trap for your little leprechaun Fauci. Your fourth wave telling me I'm going to have to stay inside.
I don't know if this is a rude thing to say, but she kind of
away.
gave off like soccer mom energy.
Well, I find that anybody who's upset about pandemic restrictions gives off soccer mom energy. That does just go hand in hand. You kind of have this tone of like, I'm not putting that mask on. Come on, Tanner, kick it.
You wanted Mega's quarantine back and you got a little taste.
And I'm going to try to make that the last time I scream into the microphone on this episode.
I'm not up the board, so you can scream all you want.
All right. Hey, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to cover St. Patrick's Day so much because this is just an excuse to explore a whole new pantheon of mythology, Irish mythology.
Which I was surprised
how deep it goes.
Cool and awesome it was.
Yeah. In fact, I almost feel like Irish mythology is the unsung hero of European folklore.
Yeah, I think so.
Because everybody talks about Norse mythology and Greek mythology and even the legend of King Arthur. People are pretty familiar with Merlin and Excalibur and the Lady of the Lake and all that. Who is ever familiar with Irish mythology, off the top of your
Not
head,
me.
you're probably thinking, not me. But then all of these things pop up, that are super familiar, like druids.
Yeah. Banshees.
Banshees, fairies, leprechauns, hobgoblins, all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of, fantasy, like just modern fantasy comes from this stuff. I would say.
Yeah, and even the idea of like magicians using wands is something that the druids used to do, the spiritual leaders of this
That's
Irish
awesome.
mythology. So I wanted to share, first of all, before we get into some details, I just kind of want to do like a little sampler, a grand overview
Please.
of some interesting things that I very briefly skimmed from Irish mythology. Did you know that in Irish mythology, there is something known as the Salmon of Knowledge?
Okay.
You looked this up, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't. But I put out a tweet and I was like, if you grew up in Ireland, can I ask you some questions? And a couple of people DM'd me. And shout out to Ross. He told me about that.
The Salmon of
The
Knowledge?
Salmon of Knowledge. And I thought that was the funniest shit. I thought it was so goofy and I
did
loved
too,
it. I'm so glad you pulled it
which
up.
is why it's at the top of my list
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So the salmon story figures prominently into one of the early cycles of Celtic mythology, something known as the Deeds of Fionn. And it tells the early adventures of a hero named Fionn Mac Cumhale, which I want to change my name to Fionn Mac Cumhale.
Yeah, me
because
too.
That's just a powerful name. In the story, an ordinary salmon ate, check this out, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I hope you're sitting down at home.
Yeah, sit the
This
fuck
this
down.
salmon, this little pink fish, this little mother effer, ate 9 hazelnuts that fell into the well of wisdom
Yep.
from 9 hazel trees that surrounded the well. Now, I'm not quite sure on the details. How do you plant 9 trees around a well? That's got to be a big well. It might even just be a lake at that point. Because if you're talking a little stone circle with 9 trees around it, that's like a wall of hazelnut trees.
I don't even think about that. Yeah, it would be like,
This well's got to be massive, at least the size of an Olympic swimming pool.
yeah.
Anyways, the 9 hazelnuts fell into the well of wisdom, and the salmon ate them, which he shouldn't have done that. And in doing that, the salmon gained all of the world's knowledge.
All of it.
All of it. Hence the
I'm
name.
imagining like the salmon eats it and he's like,
Yeah. This fish is just like, oop, oop, oop. And then finally it gets to the ninth hazelnut. It's like, whoop. Oh my God, I'm a fish. What the fuck? I'm in Ireland. I don't have any legs. I need to go contact the humans on Earth and let them know all the world's knowledge.
it knows all the world's knowledge, so it would know it was a fish in a well in Ireland immediately. That's so fucking scary.
In 1,000 years, your people will invent nukes.
That seems like a Stephen King novel, like a fish just becoming sentient.
Do you want to hear about something called Star Wars? I have all. Now, is it all the world's knowledge, past, present, and future, or everything that's just happened up until that point?
Then we're getting into some Slaughterhouse 5 shit.
That's a question that the myths won't answer. Does the fish have precognition? Does the fish of knowledge know that this podcast is happening right now?
I like all the accents you're doing in this episode.
You're welcome.
Dude, what?
Check
I'm
this
imagining
out.
the fish knowing about our podcast.
As the legend says, the first person to eat the fish, which implies that the fish has not yet been eaten, and it's a race, the first person to eat the fish gains all of this knowledge.
Yes.
So if you want to get smart, if you want to get into your college of choice and ace those SATs, I would just start eating salmon, randomly hoping that one of them is a hazelnut munching knowledge monger. The Salmon of Knowledge.
Hazelnut. What? Say that again?
A hazelnut munching knowledge monger.
Okay.
A hazelnut munching knowledge monger.
I want that
Put
on
that
a
on my
shirt.
tombstone.
Yeah.
All right. That's the Salmon of Knowledge.
Oh, wait.
Oh, do you have something?
Do you not know how the story finishes?
Oh, no. I only know kind of the setup.
Okay. So apparently this dude found the fish
Oh, no.
and he went to go cook it. But something happened where like the fish like bit his thumb.
Because the fish knew this was going to happen.
Yeah. And so he put his thumb in his mouth like, ow. And then he gains all the knowledge.
Wait a second.
And so-
hold on. You're supposed to eat the fish. It's not that the fish tries to eat you.
Yeah. So hold on. I have to pull up this photo here.
He must get like one thumb suck worth of knowledge. He certainly can't have all of it.
So shout out to Ross again. He sent me this photo of the fucking.
Oh, dude, it's a stamp. Show that
Yeah.
to the close-up camera.
Oh shit.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I'll
cut
click
to it.
this here for you. Check this out, people. The national hero of Ireland. That's Fionn sucking the thumb of knowledge. You can make it bigger. Hope you don't get a text from somebody important.
Bro.
Johnny, it's me, your girlfriend. I'm horny. You get those text messages all the time.
Yeah, all the
there
time,
it is.
baby.
And he's got the fish and he's sucking the thumb.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. It was cracking me up.
Let's go back to the main. Okay. You ready for the next sample?
Yes.
Of Irish mythology? The Land of Tiernan. Did Ross tell you about Tiernan?
Let me check.
It's okay. While you're checking, I'll just fill you in.
Yeah.
So, I love basically every mythology talks about an underworld or a paradise or the afterlife. He talked about Tiernan. You got to be kidding me.
I don't.
We got to
remember.
get
I don't
Ross
remember.
on the show.
Yeah, Ross.
Ross,
shouts
you're
out.
like our Gaelic expert.
Yeah.
Tiernan is an island paradise and a supernatural realm of everlasting youth. It is a place of beauty, health, abundance, and joy. And its inhabitants are the warriors of the pre-Christian gods of Ireland.
Okay.
When you go to Tiernan, everybody there is pretty much engaging in poetry, music, entertainment, and they are having a feast which grants immortality to the participants. So you're young, you're hot, there's good music, there's good movies playing.
They're playing.
They got bomb food there.
They got bomb
They got
food.
like Korean barbecue, Irish fusion cuisine.
They got Cubano
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
And you're like,
they got.
whoa, oh, Cubano. What is this? A bulgogi Cubano sandwich?
Dude.
And you take a bite out of it.
Bulgogi
and-
Cubano
yeah,
sandwich.
and one bite of that bulgogi Cubano, and suddenly your heart fills with 1,000 years worth of vitality.
Dude.
And you're like, I feel like I can live forever. You ever had KBBQ so good you felt like you could live forever?
No, I feel like I'm gonna die the next day.
Well, going to Tiernan is the opposite. You take one bite and you feel like you could live forever.
this kind of reminds me of like Valhalla and stuff, where they talk about there's like a feast before they
This
do their
is
war.
like the Irish Valhalla, but this one is specifically for young people. Everybody there is young. That's it's called. I think it translates to like the land of youth.
Okay.
Tiernan. Now, what's awesome is how you get there. Let me get to this part. You reach the island paradise of Tiernan by entering. There's multiple doors, and they get increasingly cool. So here, the first one's kind of lame.
Yeah.
You enter an ancient burial mound or cave.
Okay.
Now, in Ireland, ancient burial mounds are like portals to the other world. These are supposedly, there's a race of pre-human, pre-Christian, godlike deities that inhabited Ireland.
Yes.
There's an origin story of Ireland that essentially 5 mythical races have inhabited the kingdom.
I've been playing so much Elden Ring. This is awesome. Sorry.
And the 5th of the mythical races is the most famous, and they are I believe they're called the Tuatha Dé. I might be wrong about that, but these are the people who basically built these ancient burial mounds, according to Irish folklore. And when they lost control of the island, they entered these ancient burial mounds and went underground for thousands of years and evolved into fairies, elves,
Yes.
dwarves, and all of those fantasy creatures that we know about.
I have an example of one that we get to later as
Okay.
well.
So it's through these ancient burial mounds that are doorways to the fantasy world. That's one way of reaching Tiernan. But this is a cool one. You can journey through a mist.
Okay.
A mystical mist, a magical haze will just show up. You're like, boy, it sure is foggy outside. And then you just walk into it, and then you come out on an island. Did I cross the ocean? I don't know. And everybody's young and partying.
I love how high fantasy this is. And I know it's like predates a lot of that stuff. It's so like I'm blown away right now.
This is
like
this
just walking through a mist. That sounds like a D&D campaign.
this one's even better.
Yeah.
Another way to get to Tiernan
Yeah.
by going underwater.
Just in general.
there was a secret and mythical passage where you could, I don't know if you had to enter the ocean or enter a lake, but essentially there would be a magical spot in the water that you could enter it and then travel through the water without drowning.
Oh,
and take this path and emerge on the island.
that's awesome. It's like I don't know if that would be like pre-Atlantis stuff.
Or this is the best one. If you're not going to go underwater, they say that there's a path to Tiernan above water, but you have to travel across the sea for 3 days on an enchanted boat, or something called Manannan's horse. Now, I'm assuming that Manannan is a deity from Irish folklore.
Yeah.
But there are stories of mortals who have visited Tiernan, and they say that the path across the sea that leads to Tiernan is known as Mag Mel, which translates into plain of honey. And it is a golden path made by the sun on the ocean to travel.
That's so cool.
So, how do you get to Tiernan? You're on an enchanted boat. The sun is hitting the ocean, and the sunlight rays are illuminating a golden path on the ocean. Follow that path, and you will arrive on the island of Tiernan.
Okay, it's like Wizard of Oz shit.
Yeah, it is. So that's it. That's the island paradise.
I don't know. Maybe someone in the comments can say how much I've been saying I'm loving this, but I'm loving this. I really am enjoying these stories.
Yeah, this is all fun.
I want to read more about this after we do this episode.
Yeah. So, what do you got for us?
Okay. So I have like two of the. Is it just fairies? Because I know it was spelt different, and I didn't know if it was like fairies or fairies.
To my understanding, it's a race of magical creatures known as fae.
Fae, okay.
Fae.
So,
also, the fairies are like the fae people, but there's different kinds of creatures that could be considered fae.
Yeah. So I grabbed two of these because I just thought they were super interesting. This first one I felt very like it really reminded me of when we did the Skinwalker episode.
All right, what is it?
It's called the Pukka.
Ooh.
I found a couple of different spellings. One looked like more like Pukka. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yeah, exactly. But the Pukka is a shapeshifter.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's a shell.
Yeah, it's a necklace.
Okay.
No, it's a shapeshifter that could take any form it chooses.
Yeah.
But it traditionally takes the form of either a horse, a dog, a rabbit, a goat, or a goblin. So it's like a wide spectrum of what it can become. But traditionally, when you hear about stories and stuff, you hear more about like a dark steed, like a dark horse.
Okay, the black horse. Yeah.
With like flowing mane and like golden eyes.
Black stallion.
I have a photo here of the horse version.
I saw one of your pictures.
Oh.
That's not a stallion.
What?
It's okay. What do you got here?
So that's like kind of from.
Wait, it has flashlights coming out of its mouth?
It has glowing eyes.
It looks like it has a flashlight in its snout, and it caught like a burglar sneaking onto the property.
I don't know why my pinky is out, but
burglar. It's like this horse rolled up on this dude like, hey, bro.
Hey. Yo,
what are you doing in my turnip garden?
Sorry,
I'm gonna step on you.
I got a flat tire. You got light, bro?
This dude also looks terrified. Like, holy shit!
I was digging holes in the ground and a horse showed up.
You guys can't really make out his face, but he has the most terrifying grimace on his face. It's like, oh.
They're also believed to be able to speak. Like human speech.
Oh no!
So like that horse, that guy's terrified because that horse is like, "Hey sir,
it's Mr. Ed."
Exactly.
It's a demon glowing Mr. Ed.
But the scary thing is that they're known to like be like tricksters.
Everything in Irish mythology is known to be a trickster.
Yeah, so they embellish the truth a lot. So a horse will roll up and be like, "Will tell you like a really believable lie," and so that's kind of creepy. To have like an animal that can't speak come up and tell you a really believable lie.
Why would you believe anything a horse told
That's what I'm saying. But
the
like,
horse is talking, like, I ain't believing this.
All right, if a horse rolled up to you and started saying like, your house is on fire, you wouldn't believe it?
I think I would just start gasping, shut the fuck up.
I'd be like, what?
The horse is talking.
You'd be like,
shut
Yeah, he's like, yeah. The horse,
My brain would break.
the horse keeps going like, all right, move on from the talking horse thing. Your house is on fire. You need to
I'm
go.
like, fuck you. I'll
Um,
make glue out of you.
so in Ireland, the Pukka or the Pukka is considered to be the most feared of the Fae. The Fae, right?
Okay.
Um,
Wow, all right.
Possibly because it only appears at night.
Oh, yeah.
So
A nightmare.
so-
Is that where we get nightmare from?
I wonder, dude.
I've always wondered why and I'm sure I could Google this and find out, but why nightmare? It sounds like a horse that comes in the dark. So maybe it's the Pukka.
The Pukka or the Pukka, I don't know. So yeah, that I just thought that was super interesting, like an animal that can like talk and will trick you. But I was really thinking about it. It's like I was like an animal that can trick you. I was trying to think of like a modern version of this, and then I was like, oh yeah,
Here we go. Here we go.
it was like an animal that like tricks you into doing fucked up shit.
I knew I saw a picture of Donnie Darko in your stack.
So is Franca a Pukka?
I don't think so.
A Pukka?
I don't think so because Frank appears to be a guy in a costume.
Yeah, but the concept of like a trickster kind of animal I thought was interesting.
We're gonna have to save that for a whole Donnie Darko deep dive episode.
I would love that.
You probably would.
I love that. I secretly love Donnie Darko.
Me too.
Well,
I did when I was in high school.
Oh, here I also have another photo, like a more actual, like besides the horse. A lot of people say the Pukka or Pukka appears like this.
Ooh,
He's kind of creepy looking.
that looks like something from like Star Wars EU.
Yeah. The name, it sounds like a Star Wars character too.
Pukka.
Yeah, so that's what I have on that. Do you want me to go to the next one I have, or do you
Yeah.
wanna? So the next one might be the most metal shit you've ever heard in your life. You ever
Okay.
heard of the Dullahan?
No.
The Dullahan, this translates to dark man.
Oh God. Here
So-
we go. Now we're gonna get racist. Here we go.
So you were talking before about how like a lot of the early Irish were they gods or like deities?
I would call them deities because it's not clear if the people of Ireland worshiped them as gods or just considered them mythological people who existed, or if it was kind of both at different times, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not quite clear what
So-
the relationship is.
So I was like, there was one called the Crom Dove.
Yeah. By the way,
Yes.
can I say,
Yeah.
where we get this history from, it was all passed down in the oral tradition. So it was just, a lot of this wasn't written down.
Like the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like
And
something
in
like that?
fact, I was reading that Druids in particular were banned from writing any of their knowledge down in books, even though they were literate. And so a lot of what we know from Druids are written by like the Romans and other people of the time
Oh.
who visited Ireland and spoke of them. And it wasn't until Christians came to Ireland that they actually started writing all of this down, but they would change it to include Christian lore and make it, gel with the Christian
Yeah.
theology. So it's a little skewed, but yeah, we kind of have to sift through these writings after the fact. So it's an oral tradition. That's
Yeah.
all. So a lot of these were passed down for thousands of years just through story and song and poem.
I like that you're bringing that up because that actually plays really directly into this. So, like one of those gods, Crom Dove, he was a fertility god who demanded blood sacrifices in the form of decapitation.
No way.
So when Ireland started moving towards Christianity, apparently this deity got really upset because he wasn't getting any more sacrifices. So frustrated by the loss of sacrifices, he roams the streets to this day as a headless horseman,
Whoa.
calling upon the names of people who are doomed to die. So the headless horseman myth comes from
Ireland?
Irish folklore. So this dude is, I don't want to say awesome, but he's awesome.
So the headless horseman is an angry god,
Yeah.
we could say.
So his in appearance,
Ichabod Crane bit off more than he could chew. I'm telling you.
exactly. In appearance, this guy, he has no head, but he holds it with him. And the myths state that his head almost has the texture of moldy cheese. and he
Ew.
has it like with him.
Head cheese.
Like it's like a soft kind of head. But yeah, he's portrayed as riding a black horse, one black horse, or in other stories, he's portrayed as riding a carriage being led by 6 black horses.
Interesting.
And that these horses go so fast that apparently flames emanate from their snouts.
Wow, like they're re-entering the atmosphere so fast.
So when he's around, this is kind of the vibe when you see him. So wherever he appears, a mortal's death will soon follow. My stomach gurgled as I said that because I'm hungry.
He must be nearby.
So he'll stop his horse at the door of someone's house and he'll shout out their name. And that person's probably the person who's gonna die. So he'll roll up and be like, Derek Acosta! And then you're like, oh fuck, there's a man on a headless horseman outside.
What's his name?
The Dullahan.
The Dullahan. So the Dullahan's kind of like, a teenage girl's dickhead boyfriend.
Yeah.
Just shows up outside instead of knocking on the door like a gentleman. He honks the horn. He's like, beep, beep, hey,
Stacy!
Sonia!
But Sonia dies, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because is a bad dude. He does dangerous stuff and she dies.
But
yeah. Moral of the story, Sonia.
R.I.P. Sonia. We barely knew ye.
By the way, I yelled over the microphone again. Shit.
I've been yelling too. It's all good.
Broke my own promise.
Oh. But this is the thing I really found interesting was that he's coming for a specific person, but if you're around, you're not fucking safe. So there's a couple of things here.
Hurricane Dullahan.
Yeah.
Am I right?
For real, you're about to get your mind blown here. So, okay. When you hear him coming, you have to close the blinds. Because if you even see like a second of him, he whips your eye out with a whip made of a human spine.
Oh my God.
And then he doesn't stop there. He throws a basin of blood at you.
He just has this on him.
Yeah,
at all
apparently,
times. He has a basin.
apparently you have if you catch a glimpse of him, you get your eyes whipped out by the spine whip.
That makes all right. See, here's where they're getting ridiculous because how long is a human spine? Even the longest human spine is probably like 4 feet long. The Dullahan's got to be within arm's reach to whip my eye out.
Exactly. I don't know.
Maybe he's sewing these spines together.
I think it's like a mythical kind of spine.
It says human spine.
You're right. It does say human spine. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty hardcore, though.
I have a photo of him.
I do not want to be whipped to death with a human spine. Oh my God.
That's epic, dude, right? Like, isn't that fucking crazy?
That's the human spine.
That's the human
Can I
spine.
see this?
Yeah.
Okay, that thing is definitely makes no sense.
Yeah,
so,
well, it's a big ass spine.
the spine is actually coming out the top of the skull.
Yeah.
There's about 430 vertebrae there. Like, where's the hip bone connect? I don't even know. This has to be several spines sewn together. Is this his head shield?
Yeah, I think that whoever did this took some liberties, but
Yeah.
they made his head like an evil shield.
The Dullahan is scary.
Right? I thought he was awesome. Like, I was reading
Wow.
about this game like chills. I was like, I want to see this guy get a basin of blood thrown in my face.
I'm down with the Dullahan.
Me too. The Dullahan is sick.
I want a Dullahan tattoo. All right, let's go with something a little bit more family friendly than
Sure.
the Dullahan. Something we are all familiar with. The Leprechaun.
I don't know why I did a jig. That's offensive.
Why is that offensive?
know.
You don't know because you probably don't know very much about
I don't know
leprechauns.
much about leprechauns.
I found out that I didn't know very much about leprechauns either. And yet I know everything about
I know.
leprechauns.
This is all I know. They're in the hood. Because
They're in space.
they're in space.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I was like, fuck. I haven't seen any leprechaun movies.
There's like 8 of them. All right. So for those of you who don't know, if you've been living under a rock your entire life, a leprechaun is a little person. It's a diminutive supernatural being from Irish folklore. It's very important that I let you know that it's a solitary fairy. This
Yeah.
was repeated so many times when it comes to leprechauns. It's like leprechauns are solitary. Leprechauns are loners. They don't have friends. I guess in Irish folklore, it's a big thing that fairies hang out in groups. I was even reading
Oh.
something about a group of fairies known as marching fairies.
Okay.
Apparently there's like fairy armies and fairy gangs and fairy clubs and fairy
clubs.
schools and
Oh.
whatever. But when it comes to a leprechaun, they don't hang out with the other fairies.
It makes sense when they depict him or they depict leprechauns. They're always like mischievous and like loners.
They are mischievous. They like to play pranks. They're not super evil, but they do like to play pranks.
They're dicks.
And also, for whatever reason, leprechauns are depicted as shoe cobblers. That's the only job you can have as a leprechaun. You make shoes. It's like you were born to play with feet.
Sorry, you just literally made me remember a lost memory of an episode of Dexter's Lab where Dee Dee gets attacked by gnomes that that think she has the perfect feet for making shoes. Anyway, continue.
They must have been leprechauns. They must have been leprechauns. Originally, they were just mischievous cobblers, but as time went on, there became an association with leprechauns protecting a pot of gold. And the idea that if you could catch a leprechaun would lead to immense wealth because a leprechaun would reveal the pot of gold. By the way, side story, where did all this gold come from? I have the answer.
Oh, I don't want to jump ahead, but do you have anything about? I've always been curious about the rainbow situation.
I don't know anything about the
Okay,
rainbows.
all right, yeah, sorry, continue.
But supposedly, here's why leprechauns have so much gold. Remember when I told you that Ireland was ruled by 5 mythical races?
Yeah.
And the 5th race, the Tuatha Dé, were forced underground to become fairies, right?
Mhm.
Well, that was not a peaceful forcing. In fact, there was a great war to force the Tuatha Dé underground. And according to the legend, when the war broke out, the Tuatha Dé took their wealth and buried it in the ground, which is a common thing in medieval wars. When you have an
Yeah.
invading army coming to your village or kingdom or property or whatever. In fact, England did this during World War II when they hid the royal jewels when they were at war with Germany. Just in case Germany invaded England, they would not be able to get their hands on these royal jewels because it's
That
not
makes
so
sense.
much about wealth. These things,
It's like losing,
they have, it's a status
Heritage,
symbol.
yeah.
There's a lot of like power associated with the person who controls
Yeah.
the jewels. There's almost a magical controlling ability about it. When war happens, you bury your wealth to protect it from the invaders. Supposedly, that is what the Tuatha Dé did during their mythical war, and that is where the leprechauns get their pot of gold. The leprechauns now today can unearth that long-lost, forgotten wealth.
they're stealing war gold,
They're stealing ancient war gold
dude.
from the gods. Doesn't this get cooler
Yeah, I was
and
about
cooler?
to say, like leprechauns. I feel like the Americanized version of them are very lame, and this sounds awesome.
Well, this is
They're almost more like dwarf-like, like high fantasy dwarfs, as opposed to like.
yeah. A lot of this stuff was kind of solidified in the 1800s, in the 19th century, through
Yeah.
poetry and stories coming out of Ireland. Okay, did you know that originally leprechauns wore red?
Okay.
Yeah, leprechauns were not originally associated with the color green. They were distinctly associated with the color red. In fact, one of the earliest descriptions of a leprechaun described him as quite a beau in his dress, notwithstanding, for he wears a red square-cut coat, richly laced with gold, and an inexpressible of the same cocked hat, shoes, and buckles.
I mean, you still have like the general like, the buckles and the hat and the tiny suit. Like that's cool that it's all kind of there.
But it's red.
yeah, but it's red. Yeah.
By the way,
Mhm.
do you want to know why leprechauns wear buckles, shoes, hats, and coats?
Yeah, 100%. I want to know.
This one was
I always wondered why they're so fancy looking.
This one was fascinating to me, and as it turns out, a little bit prejudiced, a
Oh.
little bit racist towards Irish people. So that description of a leprechaun wearing those clothes comes from America. That is the description of the modern American leprechaun. In the 1900s, when the Irish people were first moving and immigrating to America en masse,
During the potato famines?
yes,
Yeah.
they were not wealthy.
Yeah.
they were poor, and they were actually dressing in a style of clothing that was incredibly out of fashion.
Okay.
They were still wearing clothing from the Elizabethan era.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like the leprechauns almost have like a Puritan look to them, like what we think of as like a Thanksgiving kind of stuff garb.
It's leftover clothes from the Elizabethan era.
Okay.
As America started to move into the modern era of fashion, the Irish people who were immigrating and had lost a lot and were just coming with the clothes off of their back were still wearing out of fashion clothes.
Okay.
And this is the inspiration for how the leprechaun dresses now, with the top hat, with the coat, with the shoes.
Okay.
That's why the leprechaun appears to be from that era, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting.
Apparently, back in the day, there was something called a stage Irish. And in plays, they would depict Irish people kind of unfavorably,
Yeah.
but always wearing those clothes and kind of acting in a stereotypically bad way. Like everything bad you would think about the Irish stereotype from 200 years ago, right, is represented in those plays, and they're known as stage Irish plays.
This is extremely interesting to kind of, I mean, in general, the leprechaun always felt like a, caricature of Irish culture. And to learn that it's like it is, but it's deeper than that,
Yeah, it absolutely is. Okay. Now, here's something I thought was awesome.
Okay.
Leprechauns are closely associated with another mythical creature.
Okay.
Something called a clurichaun. Some people think that clurichauns are actually leprechauns with
Clurichaun.
with one little difference.
Okay.
A clurichaun is believed to be a leprechaun that has gone on a drinking binge.
Okay.
There are stories. There are stories of
They become a different race when they get drunk.
There
or-
are stories from Irish folklore of creatures that haunt breweries, creatures that haunt wine cellars,
Okay.
and generally these fairies that act exactly like leprechauns, except for the fact that they're drunk and they're obsessed with alcohol. They are mischievous. They prank people, but they also bring good fortune. If you have a clurichaun haunting your house and you try to leave the house, the clurichaun will follow you. There's so many stories of people being haunted by clurichauns and just thinking like, well, I'll leave. And they pack up their stuff and they go, only to see that the clurichaun is resting on top of all the packages, just basically saying, wherever you're going, I'm going too.
This is a great excuse
And
if you're drunk.
And they just give up and go back. The clurichaun is a mischievous fairy in Irish folklore, known for his great love of drinking and tendency to haunt breweries, pubs, and wine cellars. He is related to the leprechaun and has sometimes been conflated with him as a shoemaking guardian of hidden treasure. Some folklorists suppose that the clurichaun is merely a leprechaun on a drinking spree. I love the fact
I love that,
this almost makes me think, and I know I'm going to get hatred for this. I know I'm going to get crap for this. This almost
No.
makes me think leprechauns are real. Because you would have to be real to get drunk. Have you ever heard a story of a drunk vampire? You ever heard like, oh yeah, vampires are crazy, but you ever heard of shampires?
Vampires.
They're vampires that drink champagne instead of blood. No, I've never heard of that because that's not what a vampire is. A vampire drinks blood. Now, if I met a vampire one day who's like clearly a vampire, except he drinks champagne instead of blood, then I would believe that vampires are real. And I dare say that must be the only explanation for how they came up with the clurichaun. They saw an actual leprechaun. They're like,
A drunk.
holy shit, leprechauns are real. And then the leprechaun's like, you goddamn right, I'm real. And they're like, this leprechaun is drunk.
This guy's drunk.
And he's like, I'm not a leprechaun, I'm a clurichaun. And they're like, okay, clurichaun, whatever. That's my theory for how clurichauns came to exist.
Yeah, it's kind of like when I'm in New York and I become New York Johnny.
Exactly. Clurichaun, the leprechaun. Now, I know people are listening to this episode right now or watching it on YouTube and they're like, God, Derek is so cringy. God, he actually believes in leprechauns. Like he thinks people see leprechauns. Yeah, I think people see leprechauns. In fact, I know that people see leprechauns. Because have y'all ever heard of the Cheltenham Leprechaun? Guess what? You have. Johnny, hit him with the video.
I'll hit him.
Well, just in time for
This is one of my favorite videos of all time.
By the dozens to get an up-close view at what some say is a piece of Irish folklore.
Some people in the Crichton area of Mobile say a leprechaun is taking up residence in their neighborhood. A leprechaun. NBC 15's Brian Johnson has more.
This is the full video.
That's okay. Let it play.
Leads to large crowds in Mobile's Crichton community. Many of you bring binoculars, camcorders,
This
and
is-
camera phones to take pictures.
2006, everybody.
Oh, man, this brings me back.
Yeah.
I saw an image of that guy and I could hear the
leprechaun
image.
only comes out at night. If you shine a light in its direction, it suddenly disappears. This
There it is.
resembles what many of you say the leprechaun looks like.
That will never
Others
not make me
believe
laugh.
and have come up with their own theories and explanations for the image.
My theory is it's casting a shadow
Uh-huh.
from the other limb.
Could be a crackhead got hold of the wrong stuff.
Dude,
Classic.
this is so classic. I love all these people. Oh, this guy's my favorite. Tactical leprechaun man.
Don't be afraid, man.
This guy helping to direct traffic
This
says
guy?
he's prepared for his encounter with the leprechaun. He's suited up from head to toe.
Show me the flute.
Spells right here.
I love that he has a
Special
Kevlar vest
leprechaun
on.
flute, which has been passed down from thousands of years ago from my great-great-grandfather who was Irish. I just came to help out.
Others
I
just
just came to
came
help
to
out.
get lucky in hopes a pot of gold may be buried under this tree.
I'm gonna run a backhoe and uproot that tree. I want to know where to go. I want to go. Give me the go. I want to go.
This is Brian Johnson, NBC 15 News.
People will do anything for a pot of gold.
All right.
Anything.
I'll do anything for a pot of gold. I just love that guy was vested out like the leprechaun was gonna shoot him.
That was the famous Crichton Leprechaun
Yeah.
report. Many of you have probably already seen that. That is one of the most famous viral videos in the history of the internet. All
think
about
so.
leprechaun. That leprechaun drawing, by the way, this one right here, we have to go to the close-up.
Okay.
They know it. This thing, I've seen tattoos.
I was gonna say
I posted actually a tattoo of this on the Mega Strange Podcast Instagram, Mega Strange Podcast.
Yeah, check it out.
At Mega Strange Podcast, you can see the tattoo. There's a children's show called, it's a Spanish show, Attention, Attention.
Okay.
And they have a leprechaun episode where they talk about leprechauns to children, and they showed this as the photo, as the drawing of what a leprechaun looks like. This has become so iconic, so famous. The Crichton Leprechaun. Let's talk about the Crichton Leprechaun.
Please.
Hey,
I
by
didn't
the
know we were
way,
getting into this.
if you've ever seen this video about the leprechaun, if you're a Mega 64 fan, you've
yeah.
definitely seen this video. We've parodied this
Yes.
video back in 2006. We got Jeff Keighley to be the guy who's like, who all saw the leprechaun? Say yeah. This video was a significant part of my upbringing
Yeah.
on the internet. I wasn't a child. I was like a teenager in college, but I loved this video.
I remember being blown away by that's version 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember being blown away. Like, oh my god, they're parodying the leprechaun video.
Yeah. So I did a deep dive and I went top to bottom, full information, everything that went down with this video, why it happened, what happened. Here's the story.
Okay.
Okay. So this video goes all the way back to 2006, March 14th,
Okay.
2006. How old were you in 2006?
I have no clue.
Wow.
I'm making you
I
do math on the spot.
was 21. Local NBC affiliates were alerted to crowds gathering in Crichton, and they dispatched reporter Brian Johnson to investigate. Johnson had previously received numerous calls about a possible leprechaun sighting and questioned friends at a barbershop and his church about it, and things sort of snowballed from there.
I was 17.
Nice.
Did the math in my
Nice.
head.
Nice. Everybody, we just showed the video, and the video is like the main source of information. But just to reiterate, there was a crudely drawn leprechaun shown on TV. They talked about how the leprechaun appeared in a tree and would disappear when you shined a light
Yeah.
on it. They said that it could be the shadow of a branch. One person commented that it could be a crackhead who got hold of the wrong stuff. One person interviewed was a man named DeMarco Morissette.
Okay.
He claimed to have Irish ancestry.
The flute guy, yeah.
and showed off a, quote, special leprechaun flute that he claimed was thousands of years old.
I love that because it's clearly like a fucking piece
Homemade.
of wood with just some string on it.
DeMarco
love
Morissette
it.
became known as the Flute Man
Flute man.
due to his appearance in the report. So the report actually only aired on television twice.
Uh-huh.
It was only ever aired twice, once in the morning and once at night on March 14th, 2006. But when they showed it at night the second time, that is the clip that went viral.
That's crazy. Like that. This was a different time. Like someone had to like tape that.
Yeah.
Like that was like
They went
the
down
stars
there.
fucking aligned.
They just went down to Crichton and just
Yeah.
filmed people on the street, and everybody in that video gave a classic reaction.
Yeah.
Everybody in that video could be quoted. The crackhead lady, the flute guy, who here saw the leprechaun say, yeah, to me it looked like a shadow being cast
Yeah.
from the one limb.
Yeah.
Like, I always love that quote because he's so deep in thought to just arrive on the one limb. Anyways.
But yeah, so that there was probably like a producer that was like, we can't air this.
Yeah.
But then it aired and then someone taped it, and then YouTube there's so many things that had to align for that.
This video has gone on to be viewed over 28 million times.
Damn.
In the years since. Every St. Patrick's Day, it is replayed in Mobile,
Yeah.
Alabama as a tradition.
That's awesome.
Well, in 2014, a couple of radio hosts from Texas actually went into Crichton, the Crichton area of Mobile, Alabama, 8 years later. I have
my
to
God.
hand it to these guys.
Yeah, shouts out.
8 years after this report, just one random report, these guys are like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And they started interviewing the people of Crichton to see if anybody remembered the leprechaun incident from 8 years earlier.
Is there a documentary about this?
There
'Cause
should be.
I would love to
There
watch
should
that.
be. A lot of people remembered the leprechaun incident.
Oh, yeah.
And some people even claim to have known who the leprechaun was.
Oh.
They told these radio DJs that the leprechaun's name was Sean. And they gave them an address. Can we go to the close-up camera?
I'm really hoping this is a crackhead who got a hold of the wrong stuff. Oh my fucking God.
They found Sean from Crichton in Mobile, Alabama. This is Sean. Sean claims to be the Crichton leprechaun.
Was he chilling in a tree or something?
Sean says, according to him, on March 14th, 2006,
Dude.
him and some friends purchased a
my
leprechaun
God.
costume that
Oh my God.
only Sean could fit in. Sean climbed up into a tree and hid in a tree while his friends ran up and down the street telling people there was a leprechaun hiding in the tree.
Oh my God.
Sean jumped out of the tree and ran away, but a legend was born. And ever since, the story of the Crichton leprechaun has lived on year after year.
That is awesome.
Now,
Shouts out to Sean.
Shouts out to Sean.
Do you want me to cut to?
No, we don't
okay.
have to. We can see it. We saw it. Is Sean actually the Mobile, Alabama leprechaun?
I think so.
By all accounts, he is. By the locals there, they say Sean is the man. Sean is the leprechaun.
Dude, shouts out.
Shouts out to Sean. I never thought that I would get a photo of the leprechaun.
I never thought there would be an ending to the story.
Not obviously Sean's not a leprechaun.
Yeah.
But he played the leprechaun and he started all of this. And so we got to the bottom of it. I never thought we'd get to the bottom of that story.
I never thought my whole life I would ever know the outcome of that.
In 2006 when we parodied it, and all of these years later, we finally got some closure.
Dude, my whole life I just assumed someone said like, yo, there was a leprechaun and it just like snowballed. I didn't know there was actually like a prank involved.
Yes. And doesn't that recontextualize
everything.
Like now go back and watch that video
Yeah.
and realize there actually fucking was a leprechaun in the tree.
Dude.
There actually was a small person in a leprechaun costume hiding in the tree.
Yeah.
It wasn't a branch. It
No.
wasn't a shadow. They did see what they thought they saw. Let that sink in, Johnny, and all of you viewers at home. Everybody who's ever seen this video who laughed and laughed and laughed and said those people are crazy,
They saw him.
they were not crazy. They were telling the truth. They actually saw it. That's the part of the story that gives me chills. After all of these years, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And they were right.
They were right.
That's fucking crazy.
And that flute is 1,000,000 years old.
Well, the flute's bullshit.
Oh, okay.
DeMarco Morissette, actually, if the leprechaun was real, any of it could be real as far as I'm concerned. I don't know DeMarco's heritage.
Yeah, me either.
It could go back. So, the Crichton Leprechaun. The Crichton Leprechaun is pretty famous.
Yeah.
And I'm going to end this, my leprechaun shtick, and this is pretty much all I have for today's episode. I actually have a list of what are considered to be the most famous leprechauns in America.
Okay.
People at home, I have 5 leprechauns here. 5 American leprechauns. I would ask Johnny to guess these, but I've already told him what they are.
Wait, let's play a game with the people at home. Pause the episode right now. Go to the comments. And what was it, 5?
I have 5 American leprechauns. These are considered the most famous leprechauns in American pop culture.
Write your top 5 and then post it. And then after you watch this, add an edit and be like,
what did you score?
Yeah, what did you score?
What did you score? Put like a 1 out of 5
Yeah.
or 2 out of 5 out of 5.
I'm so excited to see these comments.
Go ahead.
I feel like everyone's going to nail it.
List your 5 leprechauns now. No Googling, just
Nope.
off the top of your
Yep,
head.
off the dome.
All right. Number 1, everybody's going to get. This is listed as possibly the most notable leprechaun of all time.
Okay.
Lucky, the mascot of Lucky Charms.
Everyone's going to get that one. Yeah, 100%.
His name is Lucky.
Yeah.
He's the mascot of Lucky Charms. That is everybody's go-to. That's the most famous leprechaun of all time.
I would agree.
Number 2, the Notre Dame Leprechaun.
Okay. Makes sense.
The official mascot of the Fighting Irish sports team at the University of Notre Dame.
That really fucked me up as a kid because
I don't know if he has a name. He might just be known as the Fighting Irishman.
Yeah.
But he's a leprechaun.
Yeah, I just assumed everyone fought with like their feet, their 1 foot up. You can't see my foot, but the image of him, he has like his 1 foot up.
Oh, yeah, with your knee up.
Yeah.
For blocking.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3.
Yes.
This one is debatable in no particular order. The Boston Celtics logo
Okay.
also features a mascot, Lucky the Leprechaun. He's also named Lucky.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, the Lucky Leprechaun.
Yeah. Number 4. And this one, Johnny did not believe me.
I didn't.
Professional wrestler Dylan Mark Postel competed and appeared under the name Hornswoggle, a leprechaun who lived under the ring for the majority of his tenure in the World Wrestling Entertainment Company. WWE's Hornswoggle, the 4th most famous leprechaun of all time.
I just want to say, shouts out to Swoggle. He's still doing it. He loves toys and action figures and shit. If you want to be on Mega Strange,
I would love to talk to Hornswoggle. By the
Me
way,
too.
I found out Hornswoggle's the same age as me.
Yeah.
Or like 1 year younger.
I don't think he could go by Hornswoggle anymore, but yeah, he still wrestles under the name Swoggle.
Swoggle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shouts out. There's a bunch. I think he wrestled Orange Cassidy
That's awesome.
in the Indies.
And the last one on the list, number 5, would be the Killer Leprechaun, portrayed by Warwick Davis.
I thought that was going to be way higher.
In the film franchise Leprechaun. Nobody even knows this leprechaun's name, but it's like the leprechaun from Leprechaun.
Yeah. I think they're going to make a new one.
Oh, Leprechaun 11 coming
Yeah.
soon. Is Warwick Davis going to be in it?
I think so.
Oh, Leprechaun in the old folks' home.
Wait. Didn't they make a new one?
I could not tell
I
you.
think they did
I
already.
couldn't tell you.
Should I Google it?
Nah, it's
Okay.
fine. We don't care. That's our episode for today. Unless you had something else to share.
No, that was all. That's all I had.
Nice. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching Mega Strange. Hey, if you like Mega Strange and you want to support us, my phone's ringing.
Dude, almost. We almost made it.
Before you click off, this is important. I know
Yeah.
everybody's going to want to click off the video here.
Yeah, don't click.
Don't click. Everybody falls off at the end.
Yeah.
Before you go, subscribe,
Subscribe.
hit notifications, and follow us on Instagram, Mega Strange Podcast. We will be back every Saturday with a full-length episode and every Tuesday with a hotline mailbag episode. Call up our hotline and leave us a message about what you've experienced out there in this weird world of ours. We'll be back on Tuesdays and Saturday with more Mega Strange. Stay strange, everybody. Goodbye.
Your phone's ringing again.